Hello and welcome to Cooking Time. I'm David Martone, Executive Chef at Classic Thyme Cooking School in Westfield. Today we're doing a very aggressive fall menu, so I want to get right down to work. We're going to start backwards with our dessert. I'm going to heat up some cream for our pumpkin creme brulee. Just going to keep track of all my dirty dishes on a tray over here. So we have heavy cream in a pot to heat up with some ginger, some cinnamon, and some ground cloves. And we're going to start to, be nice if I got that into the garbage. Let's try it again. We're going to let that heat up a little bit. We want to be careful not to scald the heavy cream. Just want to whisk those spices together. And we're going to start to separate our eggs. We need to separate 6 egg whites from yolks. You can do this back and forth with this method, or some people just put the egg right into the palm of their hand and let the white run through their fingertips. Once we get all these eggs in, we're going to whisk this mixture while the heavy cream starts to simmer. The heavy cream will actually bubble up quickly if we're not careful, so we want to make sure that we have that on a moderate heat. It happens with milks and creams. Just 2 more. We'll save those whites for another application. We can actually mark them in a container and freeze them. Okay, put those whites off to the side. A little cleanup. Now I want to whisk together my egg yolks and my sugar. You'll see that it's a pretty orangey color. And what I'm going to do is to just whisk that up until it's nice and smooth. And what will actually start happening is that egg mixture will become more fluffy and actually get a little ribbony, and it'll lighten in color. Take a look at how my cream is doing. So far, so good. Bring that up just a hair. You can do this in an electric mixer. I like to do it the old-fashioned way. See, the mixture is starting to get a little more ribbony and a little lighter in color. Our cream is just starting to simmer. What we're doing, we're heating the cream up so we can temper the egg mixture and warm it up. Once this is in the oven, we'll get right down to business. Now, I did say this is a fall menu, but there is a little twist to it. I just came back from Florida visiting my cousin JR, and we always have great meals when I'm down there, and he really thinks the same way I do about food. So we went out to a great restaurant and had something called fish matacumbi. Matacumbi is a name that's actually was given to one of the older keys, and it's a style of fish that's been adopted, cooking fish that's been adopted by a pretty well-known little old-fashioned restaurant called the Fish House. I'm actually tempering this mixture. And now I'm going to whisk in my pumpkin. You can just use your everyday, average, run-of-the-mill pumpkin puree that you can buy in most supermarkets. Or, if you're getting a bit ambitious, especially around this time of year, when pumpkins are out, you can cook down your pumpkins and grind them up and make your own pumpkin puree. You can only make the mixture better. Refrain from tasting it at this point because your eggs are not fully cooked yet. Okay. We want to put this mixture right into our ramekins. And then we want to make sure that this cooks delicately. So as a little added protection, we're going to make a warm water bath by pouring some heated water around this before we put it into the oven. Okay. Just have my water all set. Now the best way I've found to do this is to get your oven set, place your tray in the oven, sticking out just a bit so that you're not wrangling the water and the tray. Now very gently we'll slip this back in. And we'll let it cook. Now we're going to get right to business on the mushroom soup. A little bit of butter will melt in our pan while we prepare our leeks. These leeks are already cleaned. You want to just slice them up. They've been washed thoroughly and split with the center washed out also, because the leek is grown in a very sandy environment, and if you don't wash it thoroughly, you'll get a lot of dirt. This is the leek before. I don't even want to put it over the cutting board before it's cleaned. So we trim the stem down, the root end, and then trim it about here. We save the green for our stock. We split this down the center because some of the sand and dirt, as you can see here, gets all in between. So to prevent that from getting in our soup, we want to wash it really good because you get a really, really gritty mixture, and it's just horrible. It's like getting an oyster or a clam with a lot of sand in it. A very dear friend of mine, Annie Casal, who recently passed away, always told me a story. I'm just going to slice these mushrooms up as we chat. About first time she cooked for her father-in-law, she made something with leeks, and she didn't clean them thoroughly. So at the end of the meal, she called him Pa. She said, Pa, what do you think about my dinner? And I guess he was trying to be polite and didn't want to insult her. So he said, Anna, this was a very good meal. No making no more for me. Which I thought was pretty comical. It was his way of being diplomatic and saying that while he enjoyed the effort and the love that she put into the dish, he would prefer not to have the gritty leeks anymore. These are little cremini mushrooms that we're using. We're making a wonderful creamy mushroom soup. You can also use little white button mushrooms. You could use, for that matter, just about any type of wild mushroom or cultivated mushroom. We're also going to add a little bit of more flavorful mushrooms, and that is our dried shiitake mushrooms, which I've been reconstituting here. And I'm just going to squeeze out a little bit to get that juice out.